how the standings look, and that's what they'll be looking to do as we head into Game 1 on Miramar. Let's see where everyone is going to be dropping.
Yep, there you go. Teams out early on. Unique jumping out pretty much immediately alongside the guys in MEETYOURMAKERS. MEETYOURMAKERS going out to the eastern side, probably going down towards the likes of Porto Paraíso. And then with Unique going down towards Valdemar. What I'm interested to see here, though, is going to be how many of these teams want to go around the center. And is anyone going to split? I mean, we saw so many teams in the center last game.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they just like Rostock because, well, it's a nice city. They like it because of its position. And if they're a team that's saying we like to be center early on, maybe they will want to do the same thing here in Miramar. Doesn't look like the same teams are going those places. We do see two teams, though. Drone Transporter and Company alongside Shusky and the guys in Test and Company over towards Monte Nuevo.
A good split thus far. Desperado is going to go further away, at least for now. Going to continue to see them check around themselves. MOM got themselves in they've got a lot of ground covered here. Good split here. This is a very nice drop for them. They will have to be careful of where Unique go from here, but overall they can be quite confident on where they're positioned.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be able to loot up the compounds down there in the south. They'll have plenty of room to work with now. We'll see the new, the first circle where we go, holy guacamole. That is a circle that BESIKTAS might just be very satisfied with.
Yeah, this could work out for them.
They are far up there already. And if these next ranks continue to go north, believe me, for some of these southern teams, it's going to be tricky. Now, had I had a drawing tool at my hand, I would draw for you out by Impala, up towards El Azahar. All that rotation up around the sides is where you'll see teams start rotating. Use those edges. Get in from the northern side because you know, especially if your team like MEETYOURMAKERS or one of the other guys on the southern side, you need to rotate around if you want to get up there. If you're a team, though, like Reciprocity here, looting up in Picado, you could one of two options. Either you can do the same and try and sort of back out and go around the side, but you just cannot rotate that early because you know there are teams north of you, in San Martin, in Hacienda, in Graveyard, that will prevent you from rotating too soon.
And this is where we have it, where we saw the P6 last time. They've not had the greatest game as him and his team. They've struggled throughout so far, but is it their time to make the mark here? The circle is certainly favoured. You can't still say. I'm still going to start. I have to listen to you a million times before I say this correctly. BESIKTAS. We're going to get this right.
That was completely 100% on point.
Hey, there we go. We're learning. We're learning.
Simple as that. Nonetheless, the looting game has begun. People are trying to see what they can scavenge, and before they have to start killing each other, of course. But with these northern circles, when you get hard shifted away from, it puts you into that. Okay, I guess we can see ourselves beat, at least in the first circle, and they'll try to get into the next circle. Either rotate extremely late, getting in on the very, very southern edge as the new one pops, or as I said before, try to rotate all the way around up on the northern side and see if you can get yourself up there by the time that either the new circle pops or something similar. Because if you get up there by the time that the circle pops and it goes north again, you have the whole world to choose from where you want to go.
Yeah, and that's it, right? This doesn't play into the hands of the likes of Unique and MYM, who will be battling their way up north. And that is a huge battle. Look at the teams. Look at the spread in front of them. No matter where they go, they're going to be looking to go in some early firefights here.
Might just be forced to, yeah.
Yeah, massively so. Now, Wizards, they're currently uncontested as it is for now. They're a team that's been able to do quite well across the board of both games thus far. But they do still need to be cautious. Reciprocity are close by at the same time.
No fights forced to happen so far. I mean, and that's Miramar, right? I mean, a map that can, well, technically easily house 20 teams without anyone forced to fight each other. I've seen 4 teams loot Lastiones before when they got out of there without ever seeing one another. I mean, there's plenty of room to loot, but it also means that these initial or these first rotations are that much, not harder, but you gotta do the math a little more because you come into it thinking, oh, it's Miramar, there's so much room. And then with everyone thinking the same way, they all start taking the same smartest, technically smartest rotation paths, and they run into each other anyway. Like, you'll see 5 rotation routes that are completely clear because they're all up to go for the same best one, just because they assume that it's free.
Now, AVANGAR have got themselves over towards the western side of the circle. They've got a lot of ground to cover there, and they can get a lot of information of the other teams trying to come into this at the same time. They're going to have no problem on doing a bit of a scouting information here, as you saw Memo try and fire off a few shots.
And this is what you want to do early. Do exactly what Memo does. Get up on those mountain ridges. Get a high ground position. Set yourself up in a position where you can see as much as possible. Info is key here, especially, well, it's key throughout the entire game, I guess you can say, but especially early on when you want to make those smart rotations, seeing where their opponents are, not necessarily where they still are, but where they rotated through. Count those vehicles up. See how many teams ran through that way, because it will give you a lot of info as to where you should go next.
Yeah, and exactly like you were saying there, you saw Encelenzo go for exactly the same play, getting that high ground, scouting around, wanting to find whatever information he can work with here. Now, T-Bone, he's a player that consistently across both games now has been able to get kills across the board. He's been the point man for Wizards if there is one. The rest of them are going to start to rotate through now, and actually the ground as it is quite spread out. No fights just yet. MYM making their way around, but they're going to go off towards the eastern side. Rubsy coming up on the far east.
Skoom and company making their rotation on up. They waited for a little while, waiting for the guys in Hacienda to make their way out first, and now the Picardo team can make their way in. A lot of teams going up on the western side of the circle. See them rotating on up, and then you have, of course, half the guys currently sitting in second place. Pelsic and company from QUICKMATH there on their rotation routes as well.
Yeah, QUICKMATH this time around. Going to be looking to keep the consistency up of being within that top 8, looking to do the further damage. Oh, so close from last time around, but it wasn't able to make it work, as we're about to see where it's going to take place.
I mean, look at the southwestern side. You have 4 teams pretty much inside one another. Unique came up this way thinking, well, I mean, everybody's got to be rotated by now, right? But there's so many teams up here. Sweatiners as well. We talked about Memo having that high ground position. Now the team comes up to join him. Want to see if they can net themselves some info as to where all these other teams are rotating in from too.
And the Kebab team have gone for the 2-2 split once again. They're not looking to play this on the normal side, but they are partially within the circle.
See Lipson.
Andy just firing off. They're trying to finish off Lipson.
Yep, you know, the SLR is a beast of a weapon, and put it into the right hands can be very, very deadly too. Ooh, Smash trying to see if he can grab himself some style points with his flying. Not quite the case, though. Does manage to get out of that alive, but Lipson, not so much. BenQ secures himself the first kill of the game.
Yeah, nicely done. So some great distance as well. Give him plenty of options here. And he'll continue to scout around and have a look. He's hungry to know if the rest of the teams are going to be around there, as we see a bit of a firefight going on. Sweaty Nerds just keeping that high ground, keeping themselves just on the outside.
Talked about looking for a team. We talked about QUICKMATH just before, and now casualties are coming in on both sides. A little bit of BM from Mithralius. Doesn't want to waste his ammo. Goes over to punch out Pelsic to secure himself the kill. Play with me now. Falls down behind this little, well, behind the tree and behind the ditch. Vehicle blown up, not seemingly a chance for him to get out of here alive. His teammates are trying to put down some cover fire, but they're far away.
Yeah, Aros has taken a fair bit of damage, though. He's got some pressure on towards him. His team aren't that far away, and they have got some high ground to work off of, but are they going to be able to give him some backup that he's oh so desperately going to need as he continues to med his way up to continue to stay alive here?
Well, at least for starters, he has a vehicle that can still drive. That's beneficial, but we'll see if he's going to go into it or not. Play with me, of course, wants to get out of here alive as well, but as you can see, Wizards on the other side, they have him very, very much locked down to his position.
He just played a bit of peekaboo and went, yep, they're all looking at me. I'm going to drop back down. I don't want to engage in this just yet.
He's the mole, you know, in the whack-a-mole game. Yeah, just trying to peek up and not get punched in the head with a hammer.
Now, Elgig, they had a solid game last time where they were able to hold themselves in here. Are they going to be able to find that positionary advantage again here?
See, Hoaxstar saying, wait, there's a vehicle in the middle of the road. Let me just grab that. Maybe not has... Doesn't have gas? Oh, it does have gas. There you go. Nice trade-up circle, though. Going over on the western side towards where I guess you could say the majority of teams are already located. San Martin on the southern side, not a place you really want to set yourself. We talk about so many times how these cities, unless forced to, in the end of the game, you pretty much want to stay out of them by all means. But looking at this circle the way it is right now, might just end up seeing some teams going down there anyway, because water treatment as well, taking up a lot of space in the circle, won't be a place you'd want to go.
You can see Drone Transporter. He's just driving his way back in. He wants to try and avoid it while he's being heavily under fire there. He could walk into the Unique team, though, that aren't too far away.
Yeah, drone has a little bit of a way to go. Circle, of course, not started to move in just yet, but still out in the blue, needs to get on inside, get healed up, and then start moving towards that next circle before too many teams get the better positions.
Yeah, it's that waiting game that we're at for where this action's going to kick off, and it's the Kebab team that are getting closer here.
Everybody trying to make their way on in, and there's so much to it. Snoopy, nice headshot coming in onto one siphon. Res should most likely be able to come in now. Lux getting in on the action as well. So two of the teams, that's going to be the first point for BESIKTAS. There you go. Getting in on the action early on in this game. The second strength coming in, and we already see people from Kebab taken down.
They just needed a little bit of luck on their side there, or Lux as it be, as he isn't able to get this done. Now, Elgig, though, on the meantime, they've been working their way around, and they've gone for the full long haul. They're going right up to the north. They want to be able to kind of surprise and shock some of the teams in here. Kebab again, though, you've lost a member, and now you're really split up once again. And this is where it's just not been working out for them.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to figure out. We talked about it before. If it ain't working, try to fix it. If fixing doesn't help it, change up some things. I mean, that's what they'll have to do coming into this. See, you talked about ELGIGANTEN yourself, all the way up into Ahumada. They'll have to start going in soon as the circle is going to start closing in just a few seconds. It's going to be a long rotation for them, and where are they going to go from there? To Oyuho, still far up on the northern side. You see Drone and company, they're trying to make their way in from the south now as well. They have made their way inside the circle, and actually sitting pretty well in it in the dip down here.
Yeah, that actually worked out really well. We followed Drone Transporter just a little while ago, and he was fully racing for his life. We were worried about him kind of getting into that fight with Unique spraying in onto him, but he's actually now managed to group back up with his team, and this is going to give them a little bit of a good position to hold here. And I'm loving this right now. They're finishing off Kebab here. Lux and Ultra getting it done.
These are the two polar opposites, right? BESIKTAS running around as a unit. Kebab's not quite the case. I mean, they get picked off one by one. The guys are never there to really help. The only reason you hold the 2-2 splits, sure, this early on you can hold it a little wider when there's still so much room in the circle. But considering how few compounds you technically have available in this circle, you gotta be at least within vision this. Like, you gotta be able to assist somehow with your teammates, and for Kebab, they just haven't been able to do that whatsoever.
And Elgig, you just saw him for a brief second there. They're only just getting into that circle. They went for the full long rotation, but it's worked out massively for them.
Yep.
They haven't had to take into any of these engagements. They've not lost a player at all here. And look at the two teams that are closest to them. Isn't actually going to be a position for them to really worry about right now. Reciprocity, though, they are on the move. They are going to be coming their way through here. And it's really going to be down to making sure they don't get pinched in here, because Desperados are right behind them, as is MYM. And look at where that circle lands. Straight in the center, smack bang in the middle. And it's going to be a little bit harder now for Elgig to make their way back in, as they have gone for the long haul. They went all the way to the north thinking, oh, there's an opportunity, it might go north once again. But this time around, they've still got a little bit more distance to travel.
All edges are taken already, and this is when teams are going to start fighting. The entire western side is that huge crater sort of edge line. It's deadly open. You do not want to catch yourself up there, because you will die, just like you see T-Bone and company are right now. This entire western hillside is very hard to play around. And, well, for a team like ELGIGANTEN, they've really got to do some 200 IQ planning if they want to figure out how can we get inside the circle without getting completely annihilated once we do get in.
And MYM, though, they've been the sneaky team during all of this, because they've kept it quiet. They've come all the way down from the very south, and they've managed to pull themselves still into this without engaging in the fights. Wizards, we spoke about T-Bone and him being that heavy hitter for him so far, and now he's the one that first went down, and the pressure's certainly being applied to them.
See, Dysa laying right next to a burning buggy. That's a scary position to be in. Now he's getting spotted out as well. Drone trying to see if he can land some long-range shots with the SLR. We talked about the weapon just before. Such a deadly AR. I mean, I've been waiting for this DMR to be nerfed for so long, and still it never happens. And it's just it's such a crazy weapon.
At this point, you just got to give up on it ever being nerfed. You just got to say, okay, look, this is what they want. This is where it's going to stay.
That's just how those Deeks have made the decision to say, guys, I think I know a route to safety, and then he realized very quickly that was not the route.
No, not the one he wanted. Now we're going to see Unique still being able to pick off Dice. So like you said, he was hiding behind that burnt-out buggy, and he's just going to be sat there left alone. Aros is far away, and it's probably not going to be a position where we'll be able to come in and help him out there. In the meantime, though, we need a Homer getting involved in it. Deeks does go down as he was on that long rotation with his vehicle.
You see Unique now finally getting in on the action. They heard all the shots being fired from the hilltop, and now they want to see if they can get some kills on it, too. But Polaroid and company will have to make that rotation. They don't have that far to go, but if they want a somewhat center position, might be a little optimistic to go for now. But if they want a more center position, they sure have to get back in those vehicles and start moving.
Standing, able to take down Broken there. So no problem at all for them. Still 16 teams alive, but ever so slowly they're all getting picked apart.
Savage and company, they lost Deeks, but they did manage to find themselves a place to call their own. It is on the northwestern side, so a good shrink should be forced in their direction if they'd want to be into a good spot coming into the next one. But look at this. Unique taking out 2 players, just 2 more remaining for looking for a team.
Tap, tap, tap. Amorous trying to get it done. Long range and a dream there.
Don't fall down now either. There you go. KEBAB'S taken out. That's going to be 4 kills for the guys from BESIKTAS. The entirety of the guys from KEBAB'S taken out. And ELGIGANTEN, their prayers were heard. Circle does go up on the northern side, but look down on the south. There's going to be so many teams having to fight for that southern spot. And for Logipath and company, they will have to be shooting like crazy to hold them all up. AVANGAR now, though, trying to see if they can do something. One guy goes down. It's going to be Snoopy securing himself and knocking, but Insolenzo is right there to take the finish.
Yeah, I honestly feel like AVANGAR have been everywhere so far this game. They've rotated very smart here. They've got a nice bit of an advantage on terms of where they know all the other teams are positioned as of now.
See, Drone has to figure, do we want to stick around here knowing that nades are coming in from all over the place? Might not want to do that. Get away from that car. It's going to kill you. Gets down to under half HP, and in the end, Ubiga will secure himself a kill as well. And Swamp taken down in 15th place.
Yeah, not ideal for the Swarm. AVANGAR have that massive high ground advantage here. They don't want to have to give this up just yet, but it's unlikely they'll be able to hold on for it for too much longer. Just looking at where the circle is, they'd have to be incredibly lucky for that to work in their favor. MYM still having to do the huge rotate. Remember, they're at the far south and they've continued to grind their way up, but they've not really been engaging in the fights. We've not seen them pop up on the scoreboard just yet. Desperado still looking to have another solid game on their hands here, get further kills on it. They are going to enter into a bit of this battle, though, not too far away from themselves. Damage being done.
See Simsy and the guys from BESIKTAS over on the other side. They're not going to make it easy for Desperado at all. Fake is caught up on the backside there as well. I guess you can say the benefit for Desperado is that they're, despite in a horrible position, they're inside the circle. BESIKTAS still have to crawl on forward. Simsy now pulling full speed up on the guys down here. It's going to be a tricky one. Lux goes down as transition comes in. Fake secure himself the knock there. Ultra has to get up to his team, and this is going to be such a hard place to play on. Thomas just sending it dead end. He gets the run over on towards Calvin as well. Colder Menta prone inside the smoke. This is not going to be easy. Steps will be heard, and down goes Colder in the end.
Tomil is the savior for the team. He just went all guns blazing, or cars blazing as it be, drove himself into it because the rest of his team pushed into it. Desperado's were ready and waiting for it. It was looking like it was going to go their way, and then he managed to come in and save the day.
Lux does go down in the end, but the other guys do manage to get on through. And look at who comes over the hilltop to say hello. MEETYOURMAKERS get themselves the knock and the finish off onto Fake. And all of a sudden, Desperado's in somewhat of a desperate situation.
And that's what we were talking about, right? MYM, they'd been quiet, but this was their time to strike. As soon as they can, they come into the fray. Though Larza manages to get the knock onto them, so they're not out of the woods just yet. We're going to get themselves to cover.
And this is the issue. I mean, you want to take those third parties, you want to get those kill points, but them giving up their position, because as you said yourself, they've kind of been playing it from behind on the southern side throughout all of this. Now with them shooting, all of Laza and company from looking for a team up on the western side, they'll be sitting with a very good spot to spot them. You see, they're going in the vehicles now. I see 3 guys in 1 vehicle. This is calling for danger. One guy goes down instantly. Finquin goes down as well. Rubity gets finished off now. Flower is trying to send it dead center in towards where the guys from BESIKTAS are. It's not going to be easy at all. Unique as well, trying to get himself a good position over the top stand. And it's going to be the guy here trying to see if he can spot out all these guys fighting one another.
Oh, he's managed to find a few shots off there, but they come back towards him, and he does have to be careful. He needs his team up there with him as well. They have got the good position to try and utilize here.
Safe, holding the backside angle. Really good. I mean, the info is there that you can push on over to take the fine stand. He's saying there are people here, guys, but you need, when you have these hilltop positions, you need to sort of keep your 360 at all times.
Yeah.
That's what the guys are doing. They cannot all full on commit to it because that's just going to allow for teams to third party on the other side.
And this is the issue that Reciprocity's had though, right? They were trying to work their way up. They walk into one team. They're now going to go look at these buildings and compounds all in play. And now this is where AVANGAR are actually going to push in. They're looking strong. We've actually seen a little bit more come out from this time around. Got to play it smart as those nades come in around them.
Just 3 guys alive down here trying to see if they can get all the info needed before they make the push. Asterin tries to get in, gets the knock onto Rita as well. Good job by him. BESIKTAS taking a lot of fire as well. It's going to be intense, I believe. A lot of damage done, and BESIKTAS gets eliminated off of it, but I believe MEETYOURMAKERS followed them right back to it. There you go. 13th place for them.
All down to a little bit of timing, but a much better showing from him either way. MYM getting unlucky. They just all the way down in the south had to push their way, and it was never going to be easy. And now we need a home. They'll be the next to go. Out in 10th. AVANGAR looking to hold strong here, but they do need to be careful because QUICKMATH will be aware of exactly where they are now.
See Shift making his way inside the compound. Scoom trying to make the way underneath. It's going to be a tricky position for him to get out of if he wants to have any plans of staying alive. Still 1 minute or a little more than that until that next circle will be shown to us. But this circle dead out in the open. And as you can see, this hilltop right where Unique are sitting, this is going to be, well, most likely at least the center point for the action.
Now look at Tozera. He's the only one left alive for Desperados at the moment. He's going to keep himself nice and hid out. You can see him off in the distance.
He's just going to chill. I mean, the more that these guys are fighting down here, the happier he's
going to be. Leave him to it. Let him fight it out.
Oh, nice reaction time there. Gets the knock, but goes down immediately in return. Asterin secures himself the knock with the mini. Players trying to come up around and help over on the top, but is it gonna be enough? We don't quite know just yet. Siphon spots out one of the guys from Unique. Now gets down one. No, doesn't manage to do quite just that. Drainage secures himself one, but he might just go down to the end. Not gonna happen either. BenQ, they need to go up and they need to help. Andy is trying to hold the backside down the hill, but they're not at all in a position to take this confrontation. I believe Siphon just maybe bit over a bit more than he could chew there.
Yeah, jumped up thinking he could do the big play, but it wasn't gonna come into it. And now AVANGAR are going to start to push their way over to ELGIG. Savage gets knocked. They're looking to do some more. This is looking very good, but Azarin goes down as well, puts it into the 2v2. Is it now a 2v1? Can he get it done? Z-Stars falls, and that's going to be ELGIG eliminated in 9th. AVANGAR having the better game here from what we've seen so far from them, as Desperados are going to be going out in 8th. Only 7 teams remain.
And that's the AVANGAR we've been used to see. Play as a team, push together when you have the chance to, and you see it work out completely. And it's perfected right there. And Silenzo still in the compound saying, guys, can you just not check this house and just go further? Because I'm not inside the circle either. Just keep on going and then I'll make my way in on my own in just a second. But look at the top side of things. I mean, Tizarin and company, they've got the entire circle to themselves, at least for now.
They're looking around like, where's the rest of these fights happening? Like, what's going on? Surely at this point I should be seeing another team. And this is where you can get a little bit kind of nervous, right? Because you feel like anyone could jump on you from any side. You've got no information really.
But at the same time, the info you don't get is also info. I mean, the fact that you see so much of the circle and you don't see anyone means that you have, well, I mean, you have a pretty good idea of where people are laying around.
Yeah, all around the outside as of now. AVANGAR going to go in for a fast push in. He's got to be careful, though. And it's going to be Scoom that goes down. Reciprocity, they will be eliminated in 7th here.
Scoom taken out of the equation.
This made no sense.
Not trapped down here as well. I mean, he tried to make a play down, make a run down. He knew that, well, somebody has to do something. They're not inside the circle here. Tried to put up the vehicle. Now Snoopy might be able to go to the same spot and make it a bit of a cardboard. But as you can see, a lot of teams are shooting down towards him. BenQ goes down. Snoopy, though, does manage to get himself a little bit of cover for now.
Yeah, that individual skill coming into play. And to me, why that didn't make any sense is because you were already down 1 man. You take that big risk, and now you're into a 2. Make that 1.
Desperate times do call for desperate measures. They had to get out of the compound. There is no cover to play from. And now with Thralius with the AK gets himself a knock over on the top side. Unique goes down and out, and that's going to be with Thralius on a rampage. 10 kills for the guys, and that's a very, very good comeback from a somewhat slumber start to the tournament.
Yeah, this is all changed up for him. Asverin, the only member left alive of the AVANGAR team.
I take that back. They actually got 3rd place last game, so that's wrong.
Ah. It is hard to keep track of it all as we're going through game after game after game.
Look at that Silenzo, perfect position. Gets down one, gets down the second one as well.
Andy's going to pop out.
You gotta clear that building. And Solenso, we almost saw them do it, lose to it, I guess you can say 1v4 last time, but now he has a chance to pull off a 1v3 for himself. Spots out Andy, and almost, but not quite there. He does manage to get 2 kills in the process, though.
Yeah, fantastic effort there, but Andy ready and waiting, good positioning from him. Here's what's going on. Wait for him to jump out, pretty much jump on top of each other, and he will get finished off. For the 4 teams remaining, though, this is looking very crazy.
Look at this circle center. Just one shack to work around, and it's right in the middle of everything. We see on the southern side, Lasse, Logipop and company trying to see if they can spot anything over the top. They have Andy by himself on the other hilltop. Logi taken down there. Nice shots coming in. And then you have Aspirin playing a solo game as well. So it's pretty much just 4 guys trying to hold off anyone else from coming inside the circle. Because as you can see on the minimap in the corner, these guys are spread out so widely. They have all the info in the world.
Yeah, Unity, they've got a huge advantage here in what they'll be looking at. Orange Snow literally dodges a bullet. Asverin trying to put on a bit of pressure towards him. They're aware of his position, so it didn't really matter, but he's just got to try and play this smart. They've got a bit of time to move in with this, but he has to get going now. And he's just going to be running out in the open, ducking and diving, hoping he doesn't get tagged down, but that's an easy shot for Orange Snow to make. And AVANGAR will be eliminated in 4th place. And even then, further damage being done as Loggy Buff goes down after just being picked up. He's going to be pushing up, trying to find off his final teammate. Laza's just up there. And they've got such a good spread right now.
Yeah. They have full control of what's going on around them. They know exactly where everyone else and he's trying to pull off some 360s while running down the hill, but that's not going to last him long. Now Lasse gets spotted out as well. Passage might just be able to pull it off. Not going to be him, it's going to be Tisser, and that's going to be the secured victory for Unity with 8 kills to add to it. Great play in the end there of the game.
Yeah, they had full control of the circle. It worked out in their favor. A nice ending to that game we get to see there. Not the highest kills game from them, but it wasn't really required, right? They managed to just play the positional advantage incredibly well.
Yeah, but 10 kills from Enthralius and company. Very good performance. Yeah. And them getting that 2nd place. We talked about how they were sitting in the dead center.